Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone online and in the classroom. I'm Brooke. I'm our media relations specialist. I do a few different things here at Samson. So media relations, trying to get us out in the press a little bit more. Samson is so agent-focused, which is great, but also trying to push our brand out also in the news. So trying to work on that, and then also just took on some email marketing. So working on that, but a lot of different things and good things going on at Samson. So I'm glad you're all here. I know I already mentioned this, but we have a sign-in sheet over here for the people in the classroom. So if you could sign in at some point today, I'll send you my slides. So you feel free to take notes, but I'll also send them. And then online, if you want to just email me, I have my email up at the end, but it's just brooke@samsonproperties.net. If you just email me and ask for the slides, I can send them over. So we'll get started. So first off, what do you think of when you think of branding? So let's shout out a couple different things, and I'll say them back for people online, but what comes to mind, different elements of branding?
Logos.
Yes, logos. We're going to go over that today, super important. Colors, yes. Anything else? Names, taglines, so many different things. What was that? Reputation, yes. Trust, the trust factor, reputation. So many different things that go into a brand. So I have this little thing up here, but value, strategy, logo, marketing, advertising, identity, trust, design. There's so many different elements to a brand, and some you might think are more important than others, especially in real estate. Some might be more important than others, but when they all come together, really builds a strong brand. So we'll go over some of them today. So what is branding? Branding is the process of creating a strong, positive perception of a company, its products or services in the customer's mind by combining elements as logo, design, mission statement, and then consistency. So we'll talk about consistency a lot today, but you want to be consistent throughout all forms of communication. So whether it's on your postcards, on your website, on your Google pages, or on your business cards, literally even in your conversations with people, you want to be consistent. So your messaging, the way you're perceiving yourself. You don't want to perceive yourself one way online, and then your potential clients are going to meet you in person and be like, oh my gosh, that's literally not the same person, or that's not who they said they were. You want to be authentically you, and that is going to be a strong part of your brand, is being authentic. So we'll go over a lot of that today, but finding your brand identity. So some questions to answer at the beginning. So who is your ideal customer? Your whole brand is going to be around your target audience and who your ideal customer is. So that is number one. Think of who your ideal customer is, or there might be multiple, and how do you build your brand around them? So maybe it's first-time home buyers, maybe it's elderly and then putting them in their final home or something like that. But who is your ideal customer? Because your target audience is going to be totally different for your ideal customer. So you want to build your brand around that. What pain points do you solve? You want to show what pain points you solve in your brand. So maybe it's in your tagline. We'll kind of talk about that later, but you want that to be apparent on your website, on your postcards. What pain points do you solve? Why should they choose you rather than the other agent down the street? What kind of personality do you have? So if you have this happy, fun personality, you want that to show in your brand. If you're a little bit more serious and business-like, that's also going to be a part of your brand because you want to be authentically you. How do you make your clients feel? That's super important. Who or what is your competition, and how are you different? So why do you stand out? How do you stand out? So answer those questions, and that will help you build literally your brand. So what is value proposition? Value proposition tells prospects why they should do business with you rather than your competitors. So that is super important. You want to have a clear value proposition and know why they should do business with you rather than someone else, so that can show throughout your brand. So your value proposition should summarize your company's differentiators, which we just discussed, and then reinforce the spirit of your brand. Any questions so far? Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask it?
Yeah, I'll repeat it.
How long should it be, your value proposition?
Well, your value proposition, it doesn't have to be a certain length.
Okay.
I mean, it's just going to show why do you stand, why you. It doesn't have to be a certain length. It could be in your about me, which I would keep your about me pretty short, like maybe one paragraph. I just redid Samson's About Me, and it's super short. We cut out a lot of things. It was very wordy, but we also in our About Me wanted to tell, what states we're licensed in, how many agents we have, those things that are updated all the time, which may be important or may not be. So I would keep your About Me with your value proposition in it very short, less than a paragraph, a couple sentences. So what makes a brand successful? Let's go around and say, what do you guys think makes a brand successful?
Recognition.
Yeah, recognition. Anything else? Following through. Yeah, that trust factor. So if you're doing it right, your brand will plainly show who your company is and why you're different from your competition. You'll have a distinctive personality that is appropriate for your target audience and be consistent. So you're going to reinforce your position, your promise, and your personality at each touch point. So whether that is on your business card or on your postcard, on your website, even in the captions you're posting on social media, you want your personality and your brand to show. And all of that is super important, and we'll talk about some of that in a little bit. But I want to go over a couple examples of successful brands that I thought of when building this presentation. So one that I thought of was Trader Joe's. So they've really differentiated themselves from their competitors. They feel like that neighborhood grocery store when you walk in, even though they're still a national chain. And they have a very fun personality. So when you go in, they're wearing their nautical shirts, or they have their Hawaiian shirts with the Hawaiian flower. The people at the checkout are always, their conversations are so fun. It's like, oh, you're buying this bread? This is the best bread you'll ever have. Or I love this bread so much. They're always having those fun conversations. And even when I was looking at their website and their About Me and their information on their website, it was super fun. Their tone and their vocabulary was different from like Whole Foods, which is going to be much more serious and luxurious. But so they've really differentiated themselves as like fun, low or high quality at a low price, but and it works for their target audience. So maybe you're their target audience and you're shopping there, or you're not and you're the Whole Foods or other grocery stores. But it really works for them. They've really taken a look at their target audience and honed in on it. Another one that I thought of was Dollar Shave Club. So their value proposition is their low cost, and it says it literally in their name. So they're convenient and it's affordable. You can get it shipped right to your house on a subscription based, and it's so convenient and it's relatable. So I use Dollar Shave Club. It's super easy. Gets sent to my house. I'm their target audience, and it works for me. Whereas Gillette, you have to go to the store. Half the time it's locked up. You have to ask them to unlock it, buy it. It's expensive. And even in their branding and their marketing, Gillette is very masculine, and they use very masculine models, where Dollar Shave Club doesn't. It's definitely more casual, cheeky, fun, kind of like that Trader Joe's feel. So it works for their target audience, and it's an example of a successful brand that I thought of. So. All right, so here's some things to think about. We're going to go through each of these, the elements of your brand and why they're important. So one, logo. Logo is super important. There's probably not many brands that you can think of without a logo. So if you don't have a logo, I would definitely recommend getting one. And we'll go into logos a little bit deeper later and how you can get them. We have a couple different ways that you can get a logo if you don't have one. But the nice thing about Samson is we do allow you to brand yourself. So why not take advantage of that? Not every brokerage allows you to do that. So have your logo, put it everywhere. Put it on your Facebook page, put it on your postcards, put it on your website, literally everywhere that you can think of, you should be blasting your logo. On your shirt, wear it on your shirt proudly. Put it wherever you can, because that's going to show you and your personality and your brand, and that's what your potential clients and your clients care about. They care about you. They want to do business with you. So show that. And then color palette. So color palette kind of ties into logo, and we just kind of talked about it earlier. But color palette is super important because, as we know, colors can make you feel a certain type of way. So I have a little bit later in the presentation the emotions of color, and we'll kind of go over that. But your color palette is going to be super important. And the nice thing about Samson is now our colors are black and white, so your color scheme is not going to clash with our signage or our logos on things. So take your colors that you feel fits best with your personality or the way you want to make your clients feel, and have your own color palette and have your hex code that you are going to use on everything. So super important thing about color palette also is if you choose your colors, make sure to have your hex codes, because that way your shades aren't off every single time you're creating a postcard or you're creating your business card or anything that you're creating. You'll have your hex code, so your shades will be the exact same every single time. And we can show that in Canva too, how to pull your hex code or how to put it in there, because there's some really nice features in Canva if you have the paid version to have all of that saved in your brand kit. So we'll talk about that a little later in the Canva class, but your color palette is going to be super important to your brand. 3, shape. So shape is also can play a factor in your brand. Like on this presentation, I chose some circular shapes. I don't know why, it's just a template that I found, but sometimes a little bit more square shapes feel a little bit more modern, or the different shape with the color can make you feel a little bit more modern or traditional or different way that you want to be perceived. So keep shapes in mind, especially on your website. There's different shapes that you can, especially with KV Core, there's different shapes on there and different layouts. So pick the shapes that you fit best with your brand. So if you want to go a little bit more modern route, maybe you're going to pick more square and harsh shapes. Even the shape of your business card can play a factor. So you know how you can get a business card with rounded edges, or a square business card, or a larger business card. I know I talked to this one agent before that he had a square business card, and he was like, every time I dropped it in for one of those little drawings, I always won because mine was so different than anyone else's. And then a few weeks ago, we were at GBBR, and we had a little raffle at our booth, and this girl had a larger size business card. It was like almost postcard size, but it was really nice. So I pulled it out, and I was like, what is this? And it was her business card, and it was so cool. It was unique, and I loved it. And it just stood out to me. So a couple examples there, but shape can literally be so many different things. 4, tagline. So taglines can be important, or they don't have to be. So you may be thinking, okay, how can I incorporate a tagline? Maybe it's fun, and maybe it just shows your personality, which is great also. But a tagline also can solve a problem for your potential clients before they even meet you. So I talked to this one agent before, and he said that he was getting the question, he was really known as the neighborhood expert in this one neighborhood, but he was kind of losing business because they didn't think that he would travel outside of that neighborhood. So instead, he decided to add a tagline, and it was like, I'll go wherever you go, or something along those lines. And so it answered that question or that problem for his potential clients before they even met him. They saw his logo, they saw that tagline on there, and they knew he would travel wherever they were. So a tagline also can be so many different things. But think of it, if there's a question that you get over and over and over from potential clients, maybe consider adding a tagline that literally answers that question for them. And that way they know before they even meet you. Or it can just show your personality, and then they know this person's really fun, or this person serious, or however your personality you want it to show. Okay, 5. Any questions so far, actually? Okay. 5, tone and vocabulary. So tone and vocabulary can be it is very important, especially in your tone and vocabulary in your About Me, or even in your captions on Instagram or Facebook, because you want to show your personality and be authentically you. Think of Starbucks. So they have a totally different tone and vocabulary than any other coffee shop. You can't walk in and get a small, medium, large coffee. You have tall, grande, venti. They have a unique vocabulary and a unique tone than any other coffee shop that I can think of, which makes them stand out. And maybe it works for their target audience. Some people, I know my dad would be like, I'm not going there and ordering a grande, but for some it works. And for their target audience, it works. And so I added Quillbot under there, but Quillbot is a super cool website. We even use it here for different captions or even for email, I use it. If you write something, you can put it in a Quillbot and it'll rearrange it or add different unique words or give you different ideas. So a few weeks ago, we were coming up with an Instagram caption, and we decided to put it in Quillbot, and it rearranged the whole thing and added different words. We didn't keep that entire thing that it came up with, but it gave us unique words and suggestions that we pulled and then rearranged our caption, which is really cool. So you could even use that when writing the description of your listing. You want to think of your tone and vocabulary. You want them to feel like they're in the house before they even enter the house. So maybe Quillbot is unique to you, and you could put that in there and pull different words and get different ideas. So tone and vocabulary on anything. You want your personality to show throughout your tone and vocabulary and be unique. I know real estate it's hard to use unique tone of vocabulary because it is so serious, but you can find ways to change words and make it fun. Any questions about that? Okay. 6 is fonts. So fonts are super important, as well as the color and shape. So fonts, like here at Samson, we use Montserrat for our logo, and then our 2 fonts, brand fonts that we use on everything else, are Playfair Display and I'm drawing a blank on the other one, but we have 2 other fonts that we use. So maybe for you, you'll want to choose your brand fonts, which I think is super important, and use them on everything. So even on the Samson postcards, the templates that you're going to download on the Cardinal Nest, don't feel like you have to leave the Samson fonts on there. Use your own brand fonts and use them on everything. So be consistent. If you are choosing your brand fonts, be consistent. Use them on your Facebook posts. If you're using Canva to create graphics, use your brand fonts. Use them on your postcards. Use them on literally anything that you're passing out, your business cards. So be consistent with your brand fonts and use them everywhere. But I put dafont.com up there, DAFONT.com, and they have thousands and thousands of fonts that you can download for free. And actually, we'll show you later in the Canva class too, if you have the Canva Pro, you can actually upload your brand fonts into Canva and use them. So if the fonts aren't on there, it makes it super easy to upload them, and then you can use them on anything you're creating also. And then 7, imagery. So imagery is a little bit more broad, but you want to think of imagery and think of it as you want to target your demographic. So you're not going to select, if you're using, especially in stock images, think of imagery, especially when you're using stock images, because if you're going to use a stock image of a house on your postcard or on any type of material you're going to pass out, you don't want to choose a house that looks like it's from California with palm trees in the back, or that's not going to look like a Northern Virginia house or a West Virginia house or wherever you're located. You want to choose houses that look like the neighborhoods that you work in. Because otherwise it's not going to resonate with your audience, and then it's just pointless. They're going to be like, oh, this person does not do business around me, or then they're going to look and see that you do work in Northern Virginia and be like, well, why did they use this house? We see them all the time just scrolling through Facebook, and we're like, what the heck is this? But so just be conscious of especially the stock images you're using. And then 8, positioning. So positioning, you want to position yourself as the neighborhood expert. Position yourself as that neighborhood expert and really hone in on that. Go to events in your local neighborhoods. Use that in your marketing. If your local neighborhood that you live in, you work in, is holding a carnival or a little fair or food truck or whatever it is, go to that. Or if you're not going, if you can't actually be present there, that's fine. Maybe in your monthly newsletter, you still write about it. Or the local high school is going to the championship game. Write about that in your monthly newsletter. Or if you send out a postcard, write about it. Because that's going to position yourself as a neighborhood expert. They're going to know that you live in and work in and care about the local community. So think of your positioning and how you can really focus on that in your brand. Any questions about any of this so far? I know it's a lot, but it's all important. Okay, so now we're going to play a fun little game. Oh, this was going along with the color thing we were talking about, but we'll go back to it. So, can you guess the brand based on their color scheme? So this just goes to show you how important color is, and especially with larger brands, we can literally guess them based on their color scheme. So going back to the color thing, but let's guess. So number 1, what do we think number 1 is? No. No. I have the answers here, but it is. A store. That's a good one. IKEA. But that was a good one. I never thought of Best Buy. Okay, number 2. Starbucks. 3.
Wells Fargo?
No, but that's a good one. McDonald's. Yes. 4. Jewelry. Tiffany. 5. I would have never guessed this one, but 5 is Cadbury. 6. I'd never even heard of this store, but it's Harrods. 7. 7 might be something you use every day. Maybe. What? No. Tech. Facebook. Yeah. 8. 8 is a food service. Subway, yes. Yeah. 9. That's when I did it, that's what I said. 9 is a gas station. BP. 10, also tech. Yes, Google. So it just goes to show you how brand colors are important. And we can literally guess brands based on their color. So some, and you can see here, some have 2 colors, some have 3, some have 4. Whatever works for you and your brand and how you want your color scheme to be. And we'll go over emotions of color and talk about that a little bit later too. So we talked about what makes a brand successful. Now we'll talk about what makes a brand unsuccessful. So pretty basic, but just lack of authenticity. So we talked about being authentically you. That is going to ultimately make your brand automatically successful because people care about you and they want to do business with you. And that's all. So like I said, the marketplace is crowded with millions of potential customers and as many competing solutions. So know who you are, what you do best, and know who you serve. Common causes of brand failure: building a product, not a brand, lack of brand communication, not keeping up with the competition, market changes. Obviously, that's super important, and you all know that. And then negative customer experience. So you want your customers to have a positive experience. You want them to write great reviews about you and blast them all over. So that's also something that we can talk about. But make sure that if you are getting really great reviews, using testimonial tree. So if you don't have that turned on to go to all of your sites, turn it on. Go log into your testimonial tree and turn it on so your positive reviews are going to your Facebook pages and going to all of your pages. And then also taking those reviews and putting them on your postcards or putting them on your website, add them to your KV Core page. Have a section about positive reviews, especially if they're really nice ones that are they're really descriptive and talk about how you helped them. Use those in your marketing because it can only benefit you. So some examples of unsuccessful branding. So Gap in 2010 changed their logo, and it only lasted for 6 days. So they took their old logo and switched to the new logo, but it didn't stick. So they switched it back after 6 days because it didn't resonate with their audience. So just goes to show you, I think the new one was a little bit trendier, but just goes to show you that trendy isn't always better. You want to choose something that is going to be timeless and going to resonate with your audience for a really long time so you don't have to switch your logo a million times. And then another example of unsuccessful branding, in 1982, Colgate introduced Colgate Kitchen Entrees. So they stepped into the food, which I have no idea why, but obviously that was a failed endeavor. So did not resonate with their audience at all. And probably the same thing. I could imagine that it was probably trendy at the time. They're like, oh, let's branch into this, and didn't work out. So what to think about when building your brand? Everything leads back to customer experience. So all of these elements, how are they going to create a positive experience for your potential clients or your clients? Maybe it's that tagline answering a question for them before they meet you, or maybe it's them seeing your logo so many times all around the neighborhood, or getting your monthly newsletter that they have to do business with you because they see your stuff everywhere, or you're just known as the neighborhood expert and they really want to live in this neighborhood. So how are you going to help them in your branding. So your branding ultimately should help your potential clients. So now we'll get into logos. Any questions about that so far? We'll talk about logos a little bit more now. Okay. So why is your logo important? We kind of discussed this already, but we'll just like hone in on it. You want it to grab attention. So maybe it's with the color scheme. Maybe it's with the font that's going to stand out and grab someone's attention. Maybe it's the layout. Maybe your logo is so unique and has an icon that is so unique that it literally grabs their attention. But you want it to make a strong first impression. It's the foundation of your brand identity. You want it to be memorable, separate you from the competition, and foster brand loyalty. So how to begin? These are just things that I would do. You could probably think of a million other things. But I love to make vision boards. So how to begin? Maybe when you're creating your logo, you create a vision board. Maybe it's a physical vision board that you look at every day, or one on Pinterest. I personally use Pinterest. But making a vision board, maybe there's some logos out there that you really like or icons that you kind of want to use. Pull a bunch of things together, different color palettes on your vision board so you can kind of see it all together and how it would look. Maybe it's different fonts, and that way it can kind of give you a vision of what your logo would be or what your color scheme would be. And that way when you're looking at it, you can see how it would make you feel. So when your potential clients or clients see it, how it's going to make them feel. So I personally just like to make vision boards to see things come together, but that's totally up to you. These are just ideas. And then 5 words that represent your brand. So how I would take this is taking, it doesn't have to be 5, it could be 3, it could be more. Taking a few words that represent your brand, and it could kind of bring everything together. So maybe some words to represent my brand would be trust, family, integrity, or things like that. So then, from there, I could take those words and then take a look at the emotions of color and how I could pull in the emotions of color to bring in those words into my brand. Then I could take those words and incorporate them into my About Me. And then it could move into your imaging and all of the other things, into your logo. So I just think of words as pulling everything together and how it could take a million different things and tie it all into one. But that's just something that I thought of. So things to think about in your logo design. So icon. So whether you want an icon or not, it's not necessary, but maybe it can help you. So Samson, we used to have the cardinal as our icon, but now we have gotten rid of that. So now our logo is just simple, Samson Properties, no icon at all, which is perfectly fine. We just have Samson Properties on everything. It's modern, it's sleek, but maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe you really want an icon and it works for you, or you have this animal that you love and you want it to be part of your icon, or just something a little bit more simple. And I have some examples that I'll show also. But you want to think whether you want an icon or not, or how that's going to benefit you, or if it's not. Maybe you just want an icon and no wording. That could work too. You know, Nike sometimes just uses the swoosh and no wording, and we know what it is by the swoosh. But so there's a few different ways, and I'll show you in my examples. You could either have words and an icon, or just words. Font. So like we talked about with Samson, our font in our logo is completely different than our brand fonts, which is okay. So think about the font in your actual logo to be important as well. Maybe you have 2 different fonts. Maybe like Samson would be one font and Properties would be another. In this case, it's not. It's just bold and thin, but maybe you do want 2 different fonts. Well, if you are choosing 2 different fonts, make sure they look good together. Make sure they're cohesive and they look nice together. If you're going to use a script font for one, maybe don't use a script font for the other. And I'll show you that in my examples as well. But you just want everything to look cohesive and really match. Same thing with color. If you're going to choose 5 different colors as your brand colors, I think that's too many. But if you are, make sure they all look good together. Even if it's just 2 colors. Make sure that they all look good together. You don't want to choose colors that are going to clash. And then you want it to be clear and easy to read. So all of these things, you want it to be clear and easy to read. So the emotions of color. And I'll email this to you too, but if you want to snap a picture of it, you can. This can show you how I just said, if you choose a few different words to pull into your brand, Maybe that can help you choose different colors. How do you want to make your potential clients feel when they look at your logo or they look at your brand? Maybe it's blues and you want it to be trustworthy. Like at Samson, our accent color is blue. So that can make you feel totally different than an orange would or something like that. So how do the colors that you choose are going to make your clients feel? If there's two colors that you really like that you think are going to clash, but you're like, I really want to pull these two colors together somehow in my logo, so maybe it's pink and yellow or something like that, then go ahead and take a look at the color wheel and find a color in the middle that can pull in hues of pink and yellow and into one color or something like that. I'm not saying it looks bad, Laura. I was just my example.
I appreciate that. No, I totally understand. Thank you. Thank you.
I would wear pink and yellow. It's so funny.
Thanks. I appreciate you.
So funny. But yeah, so if you just want to select multiple colors, take a look at the color wheel and see how you can pull different hues of colors in. So things to make sure of too. Make sure your logo is a PNG file. So if you're having a graphic designer do it or something like that, make sure your logo is a PNG file because that way you're able to use it on everything. If you're going to use it on clothing or something like that or like a banner or like something larger, you'll probably need a vector file. So maybe if you're working with a graphic designer, just get that while working with them. Ask them to send you a vector file also, so later down the road you don't have to be like, wait, I don't have that, I need to pay someone to get it or something like that. So, but PNG, you'll be able to use on everything. You'll be able to put it in Canva. You'll be able to put it on your postcards, wherever you want it. So next, your logo has a transparent background. That is super important. So maybe you want one without a transparent background. Maybe your favorite color is purple, and you're like, I really want a purple background for my logo. Fine. Use the purple background for one, but have a backup option with a transparent background so that you can use it on everything. That's fine if you do want to have one with a background, but then have a backup. That maybe the logo's purple and the background's transparent, instead of the background being purple and the text being white or something like that. That way you have like two options. And we'll show you in Canva how, if you already have a logo without a transparent background, if you have Canva Pro, you can actually just simply remove the background in Canva. Or there's other free ones online, but in Canva, super easy. You just hit one button, it'll remove the background. So we can show you how to do that later. But you want it to be original, timeless, like we talked about earlier, adaptable, memorable, and relevant. Any questions on that? Okay. So here's some examples that I just simply pulled from Canva, and all of these were templates. So don't feel like you have to have, if you want to go create your own later on today in Canva, you do not have to be a graphic designer to do it. These were all templates that I just simply changed the color of, changed the text, even changed the font. So super easy, and we'll show you that later. But these are the good examples. So as you can see, the colors all look good. They all look sleek, modern. The fonts don't clash. But they all look totally different. The colors look totally different. They make you feel different based on the color. Some look a little bit more modern, where some look traditional. And then all of these ones have icons, but I know we talked about ones without. So like the one in the bottom right-hand corner does not have an icon. So you don't really need that. But as you can see, they all look totally different. And it's going to look different where you work too. If you work by the water, maybe you want to pull in blues and waves and things like that. Or as you can see, the purple one with the key kind of looks a little bit regal feeling with the color and the icon. But they all make you feel so different, and the fonts all look good together. So as we talked about, the fonts being cohesive and looking good together, all of these do. Like we talked about, if you use a script font, maybe choose a more modern one, like the one without the icon, or things like that. Now these ones, and those ones all had a transparent background. These ones do not have a transparent background, which may be okay. Like we talked about, if you have a backup one with a transparent background, the colors kind of clash, the fonts clash, they're hard to read. Yes. So especially one time I was giving this presentation and someone was like, what's wrong with the yellow and purple one? And I was like, honestly, it's fine. I wouldn't choose those colors. But if it is, it's okay. They're not horrible. For me, it's the fonts. It's the fonts together.
But
you know.
The other thing is anybody younger than a millennial will never be able to read that anyway.
I know. Yeah. It's a little chaotic.
Older than mine?
No, younger. Younger than a millennial because nobody knows how to write or nobody knows how to write. It's the truth. They don't teach it
I know.
in school anymore.
I know.
So at some point there's going to be people who are going to be like, what the hell
With the
is this
script
thing?
font, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's like the script with the handwriting, I just think clashes a little, but yeah.
Hey Grandpa, can you decipher this for me? What's going to happen?
That's so funny. So how do I create a logo? There's a few options. So like we just talked about Canva, all of those were pulled from Canva. And I'll show you in my portion of Canva later how to pull the templates, how to kind of customize them if you've never done it. You could do Fiverr. So Fiverr, there's all independent contractors on there. Make sure to really look at their work before hiring them because some people may look like they do really great work and then not, and maybe not be able to do what you're looking for. So if you are, make sure to message the people on Fiverr first. Send them like a really, really detailed description. Even if you have examples, like if you did do a vision board, send them all of those things on what you're looking for so that they'll be able to tell you whether they can actually do that or not. I know I just used someone on Fiverr for my wedding save the dates because I wanted something really custom and different. And it took a lot of back and forth to get to where I wanted to. So make sure that if you are using Fiverr, if you're going to have a lot of changes you think, paying for the higher package where you do get so many edits. Maybe you want 5 edits so you can go back and forth 5 times or something like that. So that's what I would recommend so that you can get it exactly how you want it. And asking them like ahead of time, can I pay for more edits later if we don't get it to the point that I want after the 5 edits? Most likely they'll say yes. And then the Samson marketing team. So we do have a graphic designer on staff that can create logos for you. We're kind of in a transition phase now with this, but just email me and I can help you, direct you to the right person to get this logo created for you. But we're kind of in a transition phase now. But we do have a graphic designer on staff that can create logos for you. So just email me and I can direct you to the right person. Any questions so far? I think this is pretty much it. So if you do have any questions, or if you don't have a brand and you're working on building a brand, you can always reach out to me. If you're creating things on Canva, or you're creating a logo, or you just want some input on your designs or what you're coming up with, just reach out to me, and we can go back and forth or set up a Zoom call and kind of go over it. Yeah, just feel free to reach out to me with whatever. Or if you're just writing something and you're like, I don't know if this sounds good, just email me. But there's my email. And then for those of you online, don't forget to email me, and I can send you this presentation also. But any questions? Yes.
What do you think about the colors?
Colors.
You good? Quick question about the colors.
Yeah.
So we choose a color for our logo, but do those same emotions apply for, like, let's say we're doing an ad, right? You kind of want to be kind of yourself. I mean, for example, and your words. Or
You want to do different colors
yeah,
for the ad?
orange, but you
Yeah.
don't change your logo's still the same, but.
Just make sure they don't clash. Because if your logo, maybe, I don't know,
says
maybe your
blue.
logo's purple and then you want to
Right.
do orange or whatever, just make
Yeah.
sure that they don't clash. Or
Right.
maybe you have a secondary logo that's like how for Samson, we have a white version and a black version, so that if we're using a white background, we're obviously going to use the black logo and vice versa. So maybe you'll have that blue logo, but you'll have a second one in white or a third one in black to use on different things like that. So maybe you want your ad to be orange, so it makes them feel something totally different than your logo would, but then you have that white logo that you'd put on something like that.
Yeah. Right.
Does that make
Okay.
sense? Yeah, so you could have different versions of your logo also. So maybe your logo's purple, but you have a white version, you have a black version for more simple things. But maybe your brand colors are purple, and that's what you kind of want to show sometimes. But it's okay to have different versions. That's like literally like what we do at Samson. So, any other questions? Nothing? Okay. All right. Well, Thomas will be back in a few minutes with Print marketing. Thank you.
All right, welcome back from the intermission. My name is Thomas Grayer. I'm the marketing coordinator at Samson, and today we're going to do the postcard one-on-one class. So we're going to go through the entire postcard print center process. If you all don't know, you get a lot of postcard mailings for free. So there's 300 for all new agents. You get a proud to announce postcard. So with West Virginia being here, a lot of you all may want to use this card because it's also for joining a new brokerage. Also, you get 100 for just listed or just sold. And then you also get 300 postcards anytime that you're doing an open house. And it's an unlimited service. So, I mean, if you're doing 3-4 open houses in a month, as long as you can get down this process, you just have to resubmit the order to the print center. And like I said, it's an ongoing process, so take full advantage of that. All right, so I'm sharing my screen with you all today. I don't have slides, so we're just kind of going to follow my screen back and forth because part of it is going to be done in Cardinal Nest. The other part is going to be done using Bright MLS because we will have to get your addresses together because if you send that to the print center, they will mail it out for you for free, but you do have to kind of organize your addresses and send that with the order. And then the third step of the process is very simple. There's just an order form, but I'll show you where to locate that, how to fill it out, and just kind of complete the process from A to Z. All right, so we should be seeing the dashboard of Cardinal Nest now. If you click on the Resources tab on the left-hand side, and for this, because they've switched Cardinal Nest around a little bit, so you do want to just click directly on Resources. And can I get a show of hands? Like, has anybody used the Print Center before, or is anybody actively using it already? Okay, so almost half the room, so you all are somewhat familiar with this process. Okay, so we're at the Resource Center. Now, if you scroll down a little bit and look on the left-hand side, there are filters available. And there's a postcard one here where you could just click this and it would bring up all 45 templates that we have. But for this example, we're going to use the Proud to Announce postcard. So for that, I'm just going to go to the search bar here at the top and type in the keyword Proud. Okay, perfect. So it pulls it up here. This is the postcard that we want, so we'll just go ahead and double click. And so this next screen, this is really something to note for anything that you're doing in Cardinal Nest, or especially in the resources section. There's always going to be multiple different versions here for you to download. So I would maybe notate this if well, first, you definitely want to download the version that says editable at the end. If not, you won't be able to make any changes, so make sure you're downloading the one that says editable. But after that, there's the software. The software that you're using is in front of it. So Publisher is for almost anything that's not a MacBook, so HP, Dell, most likely you're going to be using Publisher for that. Pages, it's available here at the bottom. This is for MacBooks. And then there's even a Canva option too. So if you're more familiar with Canva, you could download it here and it may even be easier to do it in Canva. But just know that you have the 3 options available. For this example, I'm on an HP, so I'm going to do the Publisher editable. So I just click download. We'll double click it. And if you get this box, it's just letting us know that they don't have the exact font that was used on the template, which is fine. I would always just click OK for that. And let me make this a little bit larger. Okay. So here's the postcard here. Now that we have it open in Publisher, it's really just a matter of editing at this point. First things first, let's change this picture. You just want to right-click over the photo, and you'll see in the drop-down there's an option to change picture. So you'll just click on Change Picture. And from a file is most common of what you would want to click. But this allows you to select any photo that you already have on your computer. I'm pretty sure I have my headshot here, so let me just locate it. Yeah. So you just double click the photo once you get it, and it does all the size and formatting for you. It literally is just going to swap the photo out and keep the proportions the same. So this part of the process is very simple. There's also a text box underneath for your name. You'll just need to double click into there and put your name in. And essentially, I mean, we could be done with this side of the postcard. However, I'll just show you the other things that you can edit on this side. The Samson property logo and the Proud to Announce banner. You can't edit the text at all, but you can move it around. I have a lot of agents who may want to center this Proud to Announce section. You can make it a little bit smaller if you wanted to. Same for the Samson logo. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And so now this I've joined section, this is your editable text box on this side of the postcard. So, you could leave it as I've joined. A lot of agents will kind of just leave it as this. But I've seen agents who maybe want to put a call to action here. I've seen agents who maybe will include a little bio about themselves. So, really however you want to kind of add to this side of the page, this is the text box that you should do it in. I'm going to just type in specializing in listings. Yeah, and I wanted you all to see this. So if you decide you want to edit this text box and you realize that all of my text is not kind of fitting in here as neatly, all you have to do is expand the size of the box. So for this, I'm going to just bring it out a little bit. Yep, perfect. And I'll bring this up a little bit more. Okay, so perfect. So now this side of the postcard is completely done. Now, if you look on the left-hand side, the second page is here. You'll just need to click here, and it'll bring you to the back side of the postcard. And the process is really the same, as we just did on the front. We'll right-click this picture. We'll go to Change Picture. All right, cool. So it switched out the picture. Now we would just want to change the contact information here. Yeah, Realtor works. The email is the next field. Okay, and the last field in this contact information section is the website. So by default, it just has the generic, samsonproperties.net web address. However, I would say, you're trying to market yourself with this postcard. So if you have your own personal website, I would include that there. Also, through KV Core, you get a free website through KV Core. So if you're an agent who doesn't have your website already, it would probably be even more beneficial to just include your KV Core address. It's typically just your first and last name, .samsonproperties.net. But for this example, I'm just going to kind of leave it as is. So you have another editable text box on this side. I'm going to go ahead and just type in my name. And for a new agent, I honestly think that this doesn't need to be changed. I mean, the message is kind of very straightforward. I'll read it aloud for those who can't see it, but it says, Samson Properties is pleased to introduce Thomas Greer as a new member of our real estate family. We're looking forward to putting the power of the Samson Properties tools, resources, and top talent to work for you. So again, if you wanted to edit this, you could, but I think this is probably perfect for a new agent that's just joining Samson. The same again with the announcing banner. The text is not editable, but you could move it around or change the size a little bit. Really, the only other thing that needs editing here is this return address in the top left-hand corner. Just change this to your home office, because if you're sending 300 postcards, at least a few of them are probably going to be returned. And if everyththing's coming to Chantilly and you're in Bowie or West Virginia, it's pretty hard to get it back to you. So just remember to change this to your home address. Your home office address, yes, not your residence, your home office address. All right. So the only other thing I just want to mention on this side of the postcard, because I get this question a lot, is about the logos. In order to get the free postcards, you do have to include both the Samson and the Cardinal logo. You could even maybe add an additional logo if you had your own personal logo. I've had a lot of agents who will maybe just kind of minimize the size a little bit of these to kind of give themselves room to add a third logo. But other than that, that's it. This side of the postcard is done as well. So from here, we just need to save it. And it does need to be saved as a PDF. So when you go to Save As, I want to say it defaults as a publisher file. So just make sure that you kind of change the file type to switch it to a PDF. All right, and I'm going to name this 1101. Okay. All right, so this part is done, and it does just pop up to kind of let you know what the final version will look like. But, editing the postcard is a pretty simple process as long as you can kind of get to it and become a little bit more familiar with Publisher. So this part is done. The second step is now going to Bright to get your list of addresses together. I know this is usually where agents have the most questions, so we'll go through this process now. So I'm logged into Bright here on the dashboard. The first place you want to go is clicking on Search. And we're looking for the third column here and clicking on Public Records. Okay, so it brings you to the search page where you're able to kind of adjust all the filters to kind of narrow down your search. I would tell you, just from my own experience, I like to work with the legal subdivision. I noticed that sometimes Bright can be a little finicky. If you're adding maybe 5 or 6, different filters on it, it'll just kick back 0 results. So it's not all the time, but just from my experience, I've encountered that. So I usually just kind of stick with the legal subdivision. If that's too large, maybe I'll kind of narrow it down with the zip code. But for the most part, I'm just working with the legal subdivision. I actually have one that we'll use, Rebel Downs. This is actually in Annapolis. So as soon as I type in the legal subdivision, but let me take a step back. So when you're searching for the legal subdivision, I usually would say go to the property page on Bright and just copy and paste what it says in the legal subdivision. Because again, with Bright being kind of finicky when it comes to that, a difference of it being in all caps and not all caps, sometimes we'll push it back out to 0 results. So for that reason, I would just copy and paste what you see on the property page. And so as soon as I put that in, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, it says that we have 463 matches. I'm going to put one other filter in this second section, owner occupied. I'm going to say yes, I would like the home to be owner occupied. And it takes off about 70 addresses. It brought it down to 399, which is good. You get 300 of these postcards for free. But we'll see as we go through it, but we're going to lose some of these addresses through the process. So it's really best to kind of move forward with this page with maybe an extra 100, an extra 150 addresses. So clicking results. We have the full list of addresses here, and then we're going to click all here at the top, and this will select everything for us. And from here, we're going to click on export at the bottom. So the next question it asks is, what type of format do you want this export to be? we're looking for owner mailing labels. So you would just come down and click on this. And so that part of it is done. You know, it's already downloaded it in an Excel spreadsheet for us. However, I'm opening up the Excel spreadsheet now. You'll see it's not fully ready. It's a little confusing kind of at first glance, but it's really just a bunch of duplicate information here. So we'll just go through and delete some of these columns to kind of make it make more sense. First things first, the tax ID. We do not need this. So if you just click at the letter or click on the letter at the top, so I'm just clicking on the B, it'll select the entire column for me, and then I'll right click and delete. All right, so I can see that columns B and C are exactly the same. One is just in all caps. I don't want that one in all caps, so I'm just going to delete this column too. And there's a few more. I see A and C are actually property addresses. So I'm going to delete this first one, column A. So name, address, city. I don't want this city in all caps, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this column. We don't need the last 4, so you can delete that anywhere you see it. And even this postal code is a duplicate, so I'm going to delete this one here and see. So name, address, city, state, zip code. We don't need the last 4, so we'll delete this. This last column is empty, so we'll delete this one too. Now let me make these columns a little bit wider so we can see exactly what we're looking at, because I want to bring your attention to column C. And it only does this when you pull from the public record. So a lot of times agents will say, I never knew that Bright will do this, but it does keep a track of who is on the do not mail list. And the public records is what you should click on, because any other way that you do it, it's not going to pull that information. So I always do public records. You know, it's probably not likely that you'll send this to someone and they'll send a complaint out to you, send a complaint about you. But just to be on the safe side, I always just kind of filter this and I'll remove the addresses that have a no marked. And so to do that part, we're going to start with the first one in this column. I'm going to hold shift and then just scroll down so we can go through the entire list. And there's a bunch of no's in this subdivision. Somehow they got the memo that almost the whole neighborhood has no on it. So, but now that we have everything highlighted, all you need to do is just right click and you'll see the option here to sort. And you could do it in any direction, but I'm going to just do A to Z. And we only want to continue with the current selection. But what it did is that it brought all the properties with a no to the top of the list. And we'll just need to delete these. And there's so many. All right, cool. So now that we have those selected, I'm going to delete these. We can actually get rid of this column now. All right, so your spreadsheet is now, it's ready to go. We have name, address, city, state, zip code. We have all addresses that are okay to mail to. So you really just want to save this now that this is complete. And you don't need to change the format or anything. It's already defaulted as a CSV file, which is perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 1101 mailing. Okay. And let me just make sure I save this on my desktop. Okay, perfect. So the only other kind of notes that I would say to maybe just kind of notate about when you're doing the Excel spreadsheet is that specifically for this proud to announce postcard, seeing that we had to delete about half the list, We're only at 203 versus the 300 that you're allotted. I would probably just add this with your personal sphere. And then the other note I would add is that include your address as like maybe the last one, or at least one time put your address on here, because the Print Center doesn't come with tracking information. So this is like really the best way for you to kind of know how quickly it's getting out there, how quickly it's being delivered. So let me go ahead. This has already been saved, so this part is done as well. So the last step is actually just retrieving and filling out the order form. If you're on Cardinal Nest, you just want to click the arrow next to Resources, and you'll see there's a Print Center tab here at the bottom. So we'll click here. Okay. So this is the Print Center page here. We're actually looking for the postcard order form, which is right here. And you'll come here and just click. All right, and we'll click on download. And you can fill out this form directly, from your computer. No need to print it out. So I'll just go ahead and fill this out really fast. All right, so type of print job. You do want to select standard. You do have the option to upgrade to premium for 10 cents per card. So, it's still very affordable to upgrade to the premium, but just for the, the full free process, you do want to select standard for that. And I'll tell you the difference. I usually have an example up here, but I don't with me right now. But the main difference between the premium and the standard is that the standard is more thicker. It's a lot more thicker. And there's no border. So actually on the standard, no matter what type of postcard that you create, the standard postcard always has like a thin white border around it. Versus the premium, it just bleeds all the way over to the edge of the page. So, it's a little bit, better quality of a card. So if you do want to upgrade, just make sure that you select premium.
You said the standard was thicker or the premium was thicker?
So the premium is thicker, actually, yes. The premium is thicker. And so we're going to select what type of postcard. We're doing the Proud to Announce postcard, so we check there. We'll skip right over the charge my credit card on file. Make sure you check all the disclaimer boxes here. And you don't need to include your signature, but they do want the date. So we'll just go ahead and add that. So this is done. Now we just need to download it with your changes. I'm going to say order form. I'll also title it 1101. Save. All right, so we're essentially done. We've done all three steps. So we've edited the postcard, we have our list of addresses, and now we have the order form complete. You do just need to send out an email to the Print Center for this step. And the email address is print@samsonproperties.net. I usually will just title it Request for Postcard Mailers. I'll say, please see attached. And let me find, I put everything on my, it should be very easy to get. Yep, all right, cool. So everything is included, all three pieces, and then we would just send this off to the Print Center. They are pretty quick about it. I would say within 2 to 3 business days, you'll get an email saying that your order is complete and going in the mail that day. But again, just remember that once it is in the mail, there's no way that we can track it. So again, I would just add that point about adding your own address. But that's it. That's the entire process there. Did anybody have any questions about it? It's pretty straightforward. All right, well, if there's no questions, that is the end of the class. So I think lunch is coming up next, guys, so thank you for joining.
What kind of platforms are you guys using right now? Are you on Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Okay. Is anyone using Twitter or TikTok?
I have it. I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
But I don't use TikTok at all.
Okay. So I'm just going to go over what all the platforms and which ones I think are best for real estate social media marketing. Number one is LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn right now is one of the platforms that not agents are using to their full extent that they should be. With LinkedIn, you can create your sphere of people. Yeah, you can do that through Instagram and Facebook as well, but you're targeting people, you don't really know who your audience are, you don't know if they even have a job. With LinkedIn, you know these people have a job, right? You can look up any company, Amazon. If you live in Sterling, DC, Arlington, Vienna, Maryland, where that geo focus is, everyone that works for the certain company will be suggested to you from Amazon or any company. You can type in any company and it'll come up with the radius closest to you, which is why that's how you can create your sphere of influence to people that you know can use your resources, buying a house, selling a home. If you guys do rentals, even rentals as well. And that's what's so different than Instagram and Facebook, TikTok and Twitter. That's also the advertising on LinkedIn is insane. You can target your demographics down to job titles, education purposes, and not just anyone who's 18 to 64 like on Instagram and Facebook, where you're kind of tied down to that. And then obviously location. Instagram is great. There's a lot more engagement than most platforms, but again, you don't know who all those people are. It could be the little kid next door who just finds your reel to be funny. He's not gonna tell his mom, hey, we should buy a house from this person. They don't even know that you're in real estate. Facebook is also great because it's everyone that you know, it's all your friends, it's all your family, it's everyone that you've ever met within the last 10, 15 years that this platform has been alive. TikTok, I like TikTok, but I'm not saying it's the number one thing for you to market yourself. It's great for brand awareness because it's an infinite scroll, and it's all you can do on that app is scroll, 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 scroll. So your video is gonna show up. But also, the great thing about TikTok too is that's where you get the latest trends for Instagram Reels, which is a huge thing these days, is Reels. Facebook also has Reels, so I'll get my TikTok content, my Reels and video content from TikTok to know what's coming up to Instagram, because TikTok has it first, and then Instagram and Facebook have it second. Twitter, I like Twitter, but not to market myself. I like Twitter for my personal use. You know, if you want to know what's going on in your areas, you can do that, but I wouldn't rely heavily on Twitter. If you use KV Core and you have your Twitter synced up to it, fine. But I wouldn't expect as many results from Twitter. So we're getting a little bit more into Instagram and Facebook marketing overall. So how to find success on Instagram and Facebook. They're both the same thing. This pertains more on Instagram more than Facebook, but it's the same exact information. You want to understand how to grow. If you don't know how to grow, you're not going to grow. You're going to stay stagnant. People on Instagram and Facebook, they seek validation. They want you to say, oh, I love that new shirt. Oh, love that new house. Oh, you know, so little comments like that. Improve daily lives. So tips, tricks. Let's say it's those little things of like power washing your roof on summer days, you know. This is the easiest way to do it. You can do things like that. And then entertainment. You can entertain anyone through Facebook and Instagram Reels and just even content that intrigues people. You don't want to be the person who's always posting, just sold, here's my client, oh, here's this house. Who are you outside of that? You know, because you could sell a $2 million home, that's really cool for me to see that, but if I want to hire you as my realtor, how am I going to relate to you on a regular level? You know, it's a people's business. The Instagram news feed, a lot of people don't know that, but if you have strong engagement rates, that's how you get bumped up on the algorithm. Same with Facebook too, but more on Instagram. So again, utilize those contacts that you have now to like and engage with all your content. Here at Samson, when I post something, I share that link to everyone in the office saying, hey, can you like this? Can you like this? Share it to your story. Because if I get 70 likes and then the next post I do, I get 120 likes, that's the first thing you're seeing on your news feed. And that's what you want. And then long watch times. This goes back into videos. Videos are superior than any content that you could post moving forward. I know photos happen, but if you can do everything in a video, that's what's the best. Keep your videos under 30 seconds, I'd recommend. If you can do a video that's like 9 seconds, even better. It's not impossible, but like you can say a lot because you can say certain things, but then also on the screen put in like a PowerPoint, right? You have all this verbiage, but you're saying other things. So that's how you can say it in 30 seconds. But long watch time. So if you're posting a 2-minute video and people are only watching 3 to 5 seconds, that watch time is down here. But if you're posting a 15 to 30 second video and your watch time is 15, 27 seconds, maybe even 20 seconds, you're still ranking in the algorithms. And then this is a huge one I stress on everyone. Do not post every day. If you are posting 7 times a week, you're messing up yourself on that algorithm. If I post yesterday, I got 70 likes, and I post today and I got 15 likes, then I post tomorrow when I got 68 likes, and I post the next day, the algorithm's not going to know where to rank me. So what I suggest is looking at your insights for your best times to post. Pick 2. Everyone's different. If you're very busy, try to select twice. So 1 weekday and 1 weekend. If you're like, okay, I can do 3 times, beginning of the week, middle of the week, weekend/end of the week. If you can do 4 times, even better, just do every other day. But utilize stories. The days that you don't post, your stories are where it's at. That's that content where people get to feel like they get to know you. Think about your favorite athlete, celebrity, all that you follow on social. So let's take like LeBron James for an example. He's not always posting him playing basketball. He's posting his Taco Tuesday with his family, and that's how that became a meme. You know, he's known for that now on social, his Taco Tuesday post. So take people behind the scenes of your daily life, whether it's in real estate, being a mom, find your niche outside of real estate and show content of that. So for example, like Diliara, she's one of our top producers here. Her stories are consistently behind the scenes, whether it's real estate, taking care of her kids, her and her husband, her traveling, her family. She has all these little niches behind her where anyone can relate to any of her stories. She is like the queen of stories. I would recommend following her. It's Diliara.Domaniva. But if you start typing DIL, she'll show up. But stories. And then stories create watch time. So on stories, you have this option for doing polls, this or that, quizzes. If you follow Samson, you'll see I'll put, are you coming, this or that for a type of style of house, whatever. Because if people are scrolling and tapping and engaging, longer watch times mean that Instagram will know that I started on Samson Properties profile, got onto Aladdin's profile from that, and then got onto Alexandra's profile from that, and then who knows, I went down a rabbit hole. But guess what? It all stemmed from one page, which means higher algorithms. And then hashtags. Hashtags are still a thing, especially on Instagram. Facebook, it's a hit or miss, but it doesn't hurt to use them, and same with LinkedIn as well. Use hashtags as keywords. So let's say we're posting this photo of this room right now. I would put hashtag education, hashtag DMV real estate, hashtag DMV realtor, because I want to target realtors in this area. Then I would do extra hashtags, West Virginia real estate, things like that. So my keyword search gets found into the social media world. Social media SEO is becoming a thing, and it's going to become a bigger thing soon. SEO is search engine optimization, which is keywords that basically when I type in best brokerage near me, hopefully Samson Properties shows up. Again, certain keywords, so that can stem from your websites, social media captions, and hashtags. More of the hashtags would be on search. It's actually a fact that I read the other day that more people are turning into Instagram and TikTok to search up restaurants, like companies, like business information. I do the same thing. If I'm going to a restaurant out in DC, I'll go to their Google page, but I'll most likely search it on Instagram first to see the food, what people are wearing, to know what I should wear, things like that. So think of your marketing in a way of people to search your keywords. So if you're that Vienna realtor, hashtag Vienna homes, Vienna, Virginia, Virginia is home. There's certain hashtags that you'll see that are already created with such a small amount of posts that you should start taking over as well. And then when it comes to writing your content, which is important, your hook. Especially on Instagram, you can only see the first line that pops up on your caption. Facebook, you get maybe 2-3 lines, maybe sometimes the whole paragraph, depending on how long it is, but it doesn't matter. That first sentence should be a strong hook. It's almost like clickbait, if you've ever heard that term. So if I'm posting a house of my listing, I wouldn't be like, look at this gorgeous home, because everyone says, look at this gorgeous home, whether it's gorgeous or not. But I'd be like, can you believe you can get this for under $1 million? The price can be $99999, but hey, I would still click it so people are like, wow, that house is worth how much? Again, clickbait. Spark the curiosity into your audience. Because, you know, when it comes to video, you don't really have to rely so much on the caption to an extent, because that first 3 seconds of a video sparks curiosity if they're going to swipe or not. But if the first 3 seconds are kind of weak, but you have a good hook, you might turn that person to want to continue watching that video. Call to actions. I speak on this heavily. Any post, whether it's real estate, whether it's a picture of your family, put your contact information in there, something as simple as your business slogan, your business name, email, phone number if you're comfortable, doesn't matter, and then put that in every single caption. So you can put, can you believe you got this you can get this for under $1 million, space, 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 and then just call you to action. Contact me, your DMV realtor, Brittany Bates, and then I'd put my phone number, email. I would even link my Instagram back to if I just putting the @ sign. After this, if anyone puts their sign-in sheet that they shared with Brooke, I will give you some ideas and how you can do that. And then another thing is to get people to engage with your content. So if it's a listing video, anything, get people to say, drop a heart, like drop a follow, drop a comment. If you're doing a Halloween post, you can do something as simple as, like, where did you go trick-or-treating? What neighborhoods? And then people can drop in all their neighborhoods. It's not going to happen overnight, but one person is better than no people, right? It's engagement. And then be social. Treat Instagram, Facebook like it's a networking event, you know, but you're from your couch. You can literally go to any of these profiles and comment. If you're just posting, but not commenting and engaging with other platforms, you're not going to grow. You have to be social to other people. It's a lot easier to be social on the internet than it is in person, because you don't have to say, hey, how are you? I can comment on Aladdin's. I can be an agent from Keller Williams, and I can go on Aladdin's Instagram and be like, oh, wow, you do commercial, and then there's a little conversation that sparked out of a post that he did, something like that. And then always respond to your comments and DMs, whether it's someone saying, good job, just say thanks, or put a fire emoji on it. But don't comment on the spam ones that happen a lot when you use hashtags. They'll say, send this to like Military Blaze, send this to house, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. I like those just for engagement, but I don't comment back because I don't want the DMs. And then don't overthink your content. It's you're telling your story. You are an agent, but also I'm an agent who, you might be a mom, you might be a grandparent, you might be into like investing, I don't know, something. You might be, show your hobbies, things like that. And then quality content over quantity, which is why you don't post every day. You want that good content to come out instead of just cranking out whatever it may be. Because you don't want to be that page with 15 infographics either, where it's the same thing. Buy, 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 buy. Today's a great time. Today's a great time. Whatever. Don't be that page. And don't stress on your follower count. For example, I would rather have 500 followers but have an average like and share and comments of like 80 people consistently, rather than having 15,000 followers and then having 3 likes, 30 likes, 20 likes, no likes, 0 comments. And that's how you know also in the algorithm, if you see pages that have 15,000 followers but they're getting under 500 likes, it's bots. You want real, authentic people liking your content. Type of content that works would be adding value, so educational purposes, tips and tricks, FAQs. So it could be FAQs. I don't really know how much it would work for an individual agent, but you can be creative and think of something like, do you charge for your first listing presentation? No, I don't. I don't know. Anything real estate related. How-tos. How to change up a bathroom in a home. How to do anything. And then tutorials of just how to sell a home. Like, what are the steps that I can do for you to sell your home? Connect with people. personal stories from you, how you got into real estate, why real estate's so important, BTS, behind the scenes. Everyone loves behind the scenes content, and that's never going to get old. You can show behind the scenes of you going to selling a condo, behind the scenes of you going to a closing, behind the scenes of you going to a Samson office just to type up a contract. People love behind the scenes because they're not in your shoes. Think of like the marketing directors, vice presidents of tech companies that don't know anything about real estate, but it's interesting because they're selling their home right now or going to list their home, whatever it may be. Transformation, so if you sold a very ugly home and how it looks now, or just the transformation of basically anything. I'm trying to keep it real estate related for you guys. Testimonials and reviews, promote your business. Don't be afraid. If you get a really good review, post it. Do it as a story. Mostly as a story, unless it's a really great one that's like a very meaningful post, I would do it as a post, but you can do a lot of these as stories as well. And then you can keep highlight buttons of all your past testimonials, because I think, Alexandria, I think you do it too, right? You have a highlight button of all your testimonials? No, but that's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, but I see her always posting her stories as her reviews. And again, if I come across her Instagram, because SEO is a thing, I can see all the reviews. I'm like, wow, like she's a great agent. I'm going to message her and say, hey, I want to sell my home. Brand awareness. Brand awareness, reels are great. Ads, advertising, definitely use advertising. That's the best way to really get your brand out there to people that you choose. And then memes. I know memes are like a hit or miss, but if you see a trendy meme that everyone's doing, jump on it. Like the Spirit Halloween thing that was just going around. Yeah, jump on it. Any questions? Any questions? Anyone? Yeah.
Just so so you're saying to do posts every other day, stories every day.
Yeah, I would
The two are different. Okay.
Yep, I would post, like what I do, I post every other day here, but I'm going to post 3 to 10 stories every single day. Whether it's me off my phone just saying, here, I'm in this room, or it can be a repost of Stephanie's reel that I really loved, or it could be an infographic from Aladdin. It can be a motivational quote that Brooke posted that I want to reshare. It can be content that's also reshared, because you can also show your personality. Like, especially on Instagram, you can share reels. So if it's funny and you like it, if it's sports related, again, it's an easy swipe up to be like, oh yeah, the Commanders are so good this year. I don't know, something. Yeah, Eagle 7-0, yeah. I was trying to keep it state related. Any other questions before I move on? Awesome. So this is one of the biggest questions that I get all the time. Your personal page versus your business page. I'm an advocate for a personal page, but if I were an agent, I would probably also want to run ads. So I would keep my business page, but the personal page just you get so much more reach. Your audience is there on Facebook, right? You've connected with people from the last 15 years on this Facebook page, so everyone's there. On your business page, those are the same people that saw you create that business page that are going to follow it. You might get a couple stragglers from random, right? But that personal page has so much more behind it. And you can also post carousels, which I think is super cool. On a business page, you can only do several photos or one video. On a personal page, you can do photo, video, it doesn't matter. Which again, that goes a long way with your content. And then a business page, your contact information is there. Everything is always able to be found if you scroll through it. But you get low reach and engagement. So what I suggest to do is just share content back and forth. If you know you're going to run those ads and really utilize that business page, keep it. I'm not telling you delete it. But if you're like, I'm never going to pay $1 to Facebook ads, take that stress away and use that personal page. Like for example, Sarah Mormon, if you go onto her KV Core website, she takes you to her personal Facebook. She utilizes that personal Facebook more than anything in this world when it comes to her business. If I go on to Facebook right now, I'll see something from her. So it's up to you. If you know you're going to probably run ads, keep the business page. If it's just getting in your way and you know you're not going to run ads, it doesn't hurt to delete it. Any questions regarding the personal pages, business pages that I didn't go over? Yes.
So 2 questions.
Yes.
So if I have a business page and you said running ads or whatever I post on the business page, I share them on my personal page. I always
Yep, and then
that.
personal to your business as well. So if it's like you with all your grandkids celebrating a birthday party, share it to the personal page because you want to be relatable. At the end of the day, you want to be relatable. You don't want to just seem as this business guy that has no personality, you know?
Okay,
So
so
show
share
the personality.
both ways. Now,
Yep.
my personal page, I went and changed a bunch of stuff yesterday, but it's mostly friends. I don't
Right.
do a whole lot of the little global thing on my Facebook because sometimes, weird people I don't know post they're advertising.
Right.
So I kind of just, I think you said yesterday, I should share it with everybody.
You should, yeah. Because again, being relatable is the key. Consistency and relatable on social media, especially for realtors, goes a far way. Like if you're a doctor, like promoting a doctor's office, you don't need to be relatable. You can I want to know why your practice is better than everyone else. But as a realtor, it's a human transaction. Like I've never given someone so much money in my life to buy this house. So how can I trust you if all I see is your closing photos? You know? So yeah, if people don't feel, some people are like, I don't want to share my grandkids. You don't have to. Find your other niche. Hobbies, sports, people like the gym stuff, things like that. Food and puppies also are great. If you cook or have a pet, share them. People will come.
Just don't cook the pet.
And then this one, the Facebook algorithm is going to change a lot coming this January because of these key factors. Instagram. Facebook has proven that more people are actually talking in DMs than they are on posts. Because again, I can share anything with someone easier in a message than needing to post it, write something about it, and I'm only sharing with people who I want to talk to. So think about that. It's again, just networking yourself. Message someone. If you haven't talked to them, like saying, hey, I'm licensed in Virginia, found this great home for you. If it's an old client, something, DM them. The worst that can happen is they're just not going to open it. It's fine. Facebook. Facebook's not going to die. No matter what anyone tells you, it's not going to die. Their social graph is so different than any social media that you can think of that's actively being used right now. It's where everyone is going to catch up with people, whether they spoke to them 15 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. You can't do that in any other application. Instagram, kind of, but it's what people want you to see. TikTok, not at all. Facebook still has that more personal touch than any other platform. So it's not going to die out anytime soon. Facebook is going to start recommending a lot of random content to your page. So I probably won't see, if I'm friends with everyone in this room, I probably will see more of your friends' content in my news feed than anything else, which isn't a bad thing though, because then think about the other way around. If you're friends with everyone else in this room, your content's going to be on everyone else's feed. So it's not a bad thing. And that's why 40% of the content on your news feed will be other people. But it's not bad. The reason why it's not bad is that because you're expanding your opportunity on Facebook to be seen by people that you don't even know. And that's the whole point. That's the best way to get DMs, maybe friend requests or a business follow or like on your content. But you have to use your profile. You can't just be that person that's consistently posting. You have to comment, you have to like, you have to share, you have to engage. So I always take an hour out of my day and I engage with profiles. Since Samson Properties, our goal is to get agents to join us. I go through hashtag DMV Realtor on every single social platform. I don't care if you're at Compass, Keller, if you're selling a home. I think it's the best home I've ever seen. Great home, love it. Comment, like, fire emojis everywhere. Because then guess what? A lot of them do follow us back and I hope some of them join. But that's the way. And I know it's a little bit trickier because you don't care for other realtors. But that's where you can hashtag Fairfax is home. Your city is home. Hashtag your city. Search what people are posting around your city. Connect with them. And it'll grow. Any questions about Facebook? Yes.
Is there a difference if you post, I know when you post a story on Facebook, it goes to Instagram. Is it better to go directly to Instagram for some reason to post it, or is it equivalent?
In my opinion, I think so. I think when I go from Instagram to Facebook, I know everything's going. When I go from Facebook to Instagram, it seems like half of my content's going. So I always use Instagram as my funnel to Facebook, and if I ever want to post something separate only on Facebook, I'll log on to Facebook and post it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Awesome. This is the end of my sorry, presentation. I wanted to go over a couple other things too. I don't have it on here, but if you're using Instagram, make sure you have a creator profile. I know we're all a business, but the creator profiles have a larger reach. You have more access to a lot of the settings, such as putting regular music on your stories. But the most important part is the reach. You can do that easily through your phone. You just go to account, then you go to settings, and then account type, and then on the very bottom it'll say switch to professional, or it would say business profile and just switch to creator. But you can schedule a one-on-one with me if you want to go more into depth with that. Any questions regarding any social media? Yeah. Oh, Be Real. So Be Real's I do like that app. It's a very Gen Z app. But you can use a lot of that content onto your Instagram for like millennials and the boomers and all the older generations. I think Be Real is going to become, it's like Snapchat, right? It's kind of like, it's not dying, but it's very more intimate with like you and your friends. But Instagram did just release a filter that's just like Be Real for your stories, where you can like show the front and then show you. So a lot of apps are going to start copying that. But again, it does, someone like you, I know you know your social media, it doesn't hurt to be on another platform. As long as you are managing those platforms. Don't have 10 platforms and then only stick to one. Because when I Google you, or anyone Googles you, all that social media shows up, and it sucks when someone clicks on that social media and it's just there. Even posted since 2018. So then people are like, so is she gonna respond to my message? Like, are they active? Things like that. So focus on, if you're not that person who's like tech savvy, you're not really into social media, focus on one platform. I always suggest Facebook or Instagram, because if you think you can join another platform, you can just do the opposite, because they're the same company and you can link them at the end of the day. That's really that. Yep.
I just had a question regarding, should I be posting both stories and posts at the same time, or separate them if they're the same thing? Because I feel like sometimes people don't always look at the post, they'll look at the story.
Yeah.
But I don't want to miss anybody in between, just in case. So should you be doing both, or one or the other?
So you're saying when you just posted a photo and then you just want to share it to your story?
Correct.
Oh, I do. As soon as I post something, I share it to my story.
Okay.
But then I always do a call to action. So I'll say, click here for more information, or I'll put like a gift sticker over it saying new post. So then they have to they had no choice but to click on it to see it. Because I want those shares. I want that interaction. Like we posted something on Samson the other day. It was like the pros and cons. We had like 200 shares, but only like 100 likes. I was like, so it wasn't bad, but I was like, I want the likes also, but the shares were good enough. And then like a really cool thing that I saw for an easy social post, I saw Alexandria do it. That pros and cons, she just put her headshot right in front of it, and it was a really cool post. I saw a lot of people copying that after the fact, but it's an easy way. Everything that we offer, you can change that into posts. I know I said stay away from real estate, but think of content 2 weeks in advance, a month in advance. So if you post four times a week, one of them are going to be real estate, the other 3 is going to be a hobby, something about you, and then a random little thing. So don't be afraid to do that, because then you have only 9 stories left to post if you do that. Okay. Any other questions? Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Okay, we're back with Canva. So I'll start and then we'll each take our little segment. Hi everyone. Back with Canva. So we'll each take our little segment. I'm going to go over kind of the brand kit and where to find logos, the logo templates, how to change them and upload them to your brand kit, and kind of go over where to upload your brand colors and things like that. So we'll each take our own little segment, but I'll start with that. So on Canva, if you go over to the left side, and this is all, this part, the brand kit, is with Canva Pro. So if you don't already have Canva Pro, definitely recommend it. I think it's like $12, $13 a month, so not too bad, and you can do so much more. If you don't have Canva Pro, you won't be able to do this part, but you'll still be able to do the basics. But with Canva Pro, you do get your brand kit, which is really nice. It's super easy to keep everything in one place with your brand colors, your logos, and then you can also upload the fonts like we talked about earlier. If you have different fonts that you want to use outside of Canva, you can upload them in here. So once you already have your logo, you can upload it into the brand logos, but if you're going to use Canva to create it, we'll create it first and then save it and then upload it to your brand logos. But you can also upload your brand colors. So like we were talking about, if you have the hex code, you can just simply add the color, type in the hex code, that way your shade of the color that you're using won't be off at all. It'll be the exact color. So I think Samson's is off the top of my head. Yeah, but it's already in here because we use it so much. But if I added it, it'd be good to go and save it here. But let's say I have this dark pink. I would just type in that hex code and save it. And now it's here to use over and over and over again, so you don't have to upload it every single time. And then if you have multiple brand colors, you can do that with all of them and easily grab them when creating projects, which I'll show you that. And then same thing with brand fonts. So here we've uploaded some fonts, other ones, festival fonts, like carnival ones for when we did the festival. But if you download from dafont.com, it'll just download as a zip file. You can unzip it and then upload them right here. And super easy, and then you can use them in the projects as well. Any questions about the brand kit? It's just nice that everything's in one place, so every single time you're creating a project, you don't have to go grab that color or find a font that you like. If you have your brand fonts in here, super easy to grab them. You know you're going to use them because they're your brand fonts. Yeah, but we'll go into, if there's no questions, we'll go into the logo section. So if I'm just on the home page, I can easily just search logo. And maybe you want to search a type of logo. You can even search real estate logos. They have more real estate specific ones, I guess. They might have houses on them or something like that. Yeah, but you could work off of these, or if you want to keep it generic and just do logo instead of real estate logo, there's obviously more options that are a little bit more simple, just a circle, nothing to do with real estate. But you could literally use any of these. Like just in the logo section, there's 53,000. So you could literally search for days and find one that fits you and kind of customize it. But let's say I really like this logo. And maybe I want to do Brooke, and then Brooke, whatever, real estate, and then maybe I want to add I just copy and pasted that. But maybe I want to add more words. Maybe I want to add my tagline down here. Whatever it is. And I can shrink this, make it a little longer. You just want to make sure you're able to read it. So that might be a little bit small. Maybe I want to change the color or bold it or something like that just so it stands out a little bit more. But feel free to add whatever you want here. And then this technically has a background color here. So I don't think it's completely white. It's a little off-white. So like we talked about, maybe I want a background color for one, but I want to have a secondary option with a transparent background. So let's say I want to change the background to black. And then I can do this in white. Okay, so great, love it. I want to save this one. I can just go to share, download. Oh wait, I have a second page here. Let me delete that. Share, download. And like we talked about earlier, I want to save it as a PNG file because I'm going to be able to do so many more things with a PNG file. So you actually don't have to change this. It automatically defaulted to PNG. But if you wanted to print it out or something like that, you could change it to PDF or whatever you wanted. So I can download that. And then maybe I want a secondary option with a transparent background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing, share, download, and then just check this transparent background check mark and download that. And now I have two options. I can go into my brand kit or wherever I want and upload them. I'm actually just going to do it in the uploads so I can just easily delete them after. But now I have two. I have the one with the black background and then one with a transparent background. Maybe I wanted to do another one, a third option, with a transparent background, but all of the text that's white, actually flip it and make it black. So I could do that as well. But that just gives me a few options. So if I'm using something with a black background, I can use the white one, or vice versa. So I'm going to go into a template that we already have. I'm just going to do... I'll do the sales meeting one. So I have this little sales meeting graphic. Maybe I want to duplicate it and add my logo onto it. So I'm going to grab my logo. This is the one with the transparent background. It actually wouldn't matter on this one because the background is black anyway. But maybe I'm going to take Danny off and add my logo here instead. I can't really read this a ton, but I could shift it around, move things around so that I could see my logo, make it a little bigger. But like I was saying, even when I was creating it, I knew that that text was a little small at the bottom. I'd probably want to make it a little bit bigger so you could read it. But you can play around with it. But that just goes to show you can have multiple options with the background, without, and it can work on anything. So this one would actually look good on a hot pink background. So let me duplicate it. So I just duplicated that artwork by clicking here. And I'm going to change the background color to red. And my logo, yeah, at the bottom you can't read, but the logo still looks decent on a red background. Or if I changed it to purple or yellow, it's still going to look OK because of that transparent background. So just be mindful of that when you're creating your logos. That's super important. It always looks a little crazy if I add like the one with the black background as an example onto here. It doesn't look awful, but it's just a little choppy. Yeah. So it just kind of doesn't blend as well. So just a little tip to have that transparent background as well. Any questions on this? Yes.
So you
wait, let's grab a microphone first. Sorry.
So this is actually the company account?
Yeah.
So on our account, we're not going to have access to the only templates in there are the ones that we create, right? We're not going to have anything.
You can find other templates in here too. We work off of templates for everything. We really don't create a lot from scratch,
Okay.
Even for company stuff. So in here, and I know Brittany will kind of go through too, but if you go under templates, there's so many different templates. If I wanted to find, let's find like a Facebook post, for instance. I'll just go to Facebook post. There's so many templates. So if I wanted to do like a Thanksgiving one, I could work off of this to create a Thanksgiving one and then customize it and add your logo, your verbiage, whatever you'd want. I would use templates, honestly, for everything because you don't really need to work from scratch
Right.
unless there's something that you have like a vision for that you really want to create. But even so, you could probably work off a template from that too. Or if you wanted to do like, oh, here's this.
How about the branding?
spotlight.
Like, so in my account, I guess I have to download like the logo, Samson Commercial, Samson Properties.
Yes.
I have to add that to Canva.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, you could actually just go to the resource tab on the Cardinal Nest. And then we have the logos under the logo section, the checkbox on the left logo. And then we actually have all of them. So we have the Samson Properties, and we have it in black and white and with a transparent background, all of those things. And then same thing for property management, commercial, Cardinal. We have the equal housing logos, the realtor trademarks. I would actually, even the social media icons, I would take all of those, download them, and then upload them into your upload section here. And then you can either drag and drop them or upload and select them from your computer. And that way you have them all in there for when you need them. You know, you could easily just grab the Samson commercial logo or the Cardinal title logo and put it on anything that you wanted when you're creating social media posts or postcards or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Any other logo questions? Yeah, there's a million templates in here, though. I would just search logo or real estate logo, or if there's something very specific that you wanted or you wanted to create your own and add different icons. Let's say even I wanted to add an icon to this. You could go in and search, like, I don't know, what a fish or something, whatever you'd want, and then add that to your logo and create your logo off of an icon or whatever icon you wanted. I'm sure it's in here. Or if you found like some sort of other image that you wanted to upload into here and use it as your icon, you could do that too. But there's a ton in here, and even in the logo templates. But if you wanted something more specific, like an animal or I don't know, whatever it is, you could go and find that and then use that too for your logo. Yeah. Oh. You don't. There are some, I'm sure there's some free ones in here. Since I'm on the pro account, let me just go into logo. If they have the little pro icon at the bottom with the crown, that will be the pro ones. But like this one I could use for free. This one I could use for free. Anyone without the crown you would be able to use for free. So there are a lot that you could select for free also. But yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, then I'll have Brittany come up and do her part.
So, on social media, there's so much that you can do. I'm going to start with, to bounce off Aladdin's initial question and what Brooke touched on a little bit, there's so many templates in here where if you type in Facebook, and then you type in Instagram, and then you type in LinkedIn, there's just a variety. But what's really cool is, so let's say I want a Thanksgiving one for Facebook. And let's say you also want to add this to your LinkedIn, for any other social media platform. This resize button right here, you can resize it to any dimension. Sorry, because like I said, every platform has different templates, so you might like one for the other. The only thing is this text for, this is Facebook, it might be a little bit longer. Instagram might be a little bit more portrait size, so this might go here. So you might want to move that around. Just a little side note. So what I'm going to go over is how to make a video in Canva. Not a lot of people know about this, but it's pretty easy. You just need more than one slide. So let's start with like maybe 3. And for today's example, I'm going to use a listing video. And see, nothing comes up for a listing. If I type in real estate, hopefully something comes up. Yeah, there's only one that they offer through the Facebook sizing, which is fine, but whatever. All of this, I can transfer that out, go to my uploads. Put in my house. My brand colors, let's say it's not any of this, but my brand kit's here, so I'll put black. And then I'm done. Now I'm gonna move on to the next page. And then I might want to add in a video. So I'll add in, let's see. So now let's add in, let's say this is, the agent speaking about the house, something like that. You can also trim the video so you can make it a little bit shorter. Then I'm going to add my final slide. So you can also add in the elements. So like Brooke said, you can download all the social media icons from the Nest. A lot of them are outdated, so I would, if you want, you can use them, but I would just use any of the icons from here. So you can type in Instagram. And if you're doing a social post, you can get ones that move around, things like that. You can do whatever you want to link people. Any elements you'll find, and that goes back to creating your own. Let's say you want a square. You can go on a blank thing and add a square and then make it, but the templates are always the easiest. And then let's say you think this is good enough. So now this is where it gets a little bit more fun. You can animate all your pages. So I'll use that. I'll just use them for all of them. And then a video is always more fun with music. So this is where there's kind of a little catch. With Instagram, I wouldn't add music to my video on Instagram. I would do it within the app because now every single video on Instagram is considered a reel. So why not use the trending sound so your video gets more populated throughout the internet? If I were putting this on Facebook, LinkedIn, I would add music from here or even upload my own, which you can easily do. You would just go on youtube.com and you would type in whatever song you want. So I'd go on YouTube. I would type in some music. Let's say can't do that, but you have to do like a single song. You can't do like a playlist. I would Google YouTube to MP3. And then just copy and paste the URL there and then drag and drop like you would for any content that you would upload on your own through Canva. If not, you can always go and find some commercialized music. But again, on Facebook, all you have to do is on the caption, put, I don't own this song, and they'll let you play it for as long as you want. LinkedIn, there's like no rules on LinkedIn, which is why I love it, but up to you. So then I think this is all animated now. Then if I want to play it, my video is 26 seconds, so I would try to shrink it down a little bit within the transitions. Maybe if this was like my video, I would probably not talk so much. And then you have a little video. And then when you export it, you just want to click download as MP4 and then select all the pages that you have. Again, I used 3, but you can use 5, 10. I wouldn't use 10 because that makes the video way too long, but it makes a little quick motion graphic. I can show you an agent who does really well on it. Again, I recommend you following people just for inspiration on social. She does all her videos for her real estate stuff all through Canva. So let's see, like this one, she did it through Canva. Added her headshot, her logo, all her CTA at the end. Her just sold one. So again, her name on social is Lil, L-I-L, Venable.realtor. Again, connect with Samson agents on social media for inspiration. That's another thing I forgot to mention in my class is social media is all it is a trend. Everyone's copying each other. No one's going to be like, oh, you took that idea from Brooke. Oh, you took that idea from Aladdin. Oh, you took that idea from so-and-so. Because everyone's doing it because it works. If you don't see it on social media or any marketing in that matter, it's because you're not the first one to think about it. It just doesn't work. So don't be afraid to think inside the box of what everyone else is doing. That's just how you're going to get likes, engagement, and views. Any questions about Canva? Awesome. Thomas? Oh, yeah.
Those 3 pages going to scroll or video as fast as the time you set.
Yep, which is found right up. 1 second.
There's 20 pages and you have 15 seconds to run through 15 seconds.
But you can also change that. So up here, this timing right here, you can make each slide 30 seconds if you want. And then you can apply to all pages or just do individual things like that.
Is the format for all the platforms, or do you have to resize again?
So if you pay for Canva Pro, this resize button, so let's say this was Facebook or Instagram, but I want to put it as a story. I would just go Instagram story, copy and resize if you want to keep it, or just you already downloaded it, so you just want to resize it, and then boom. So again, you might want to change some things for sizing purposes. I don't always rely on the Canva sizing. I definitely rely more on Hootsuite. If you just Google Hootsuite social media sizes, they resize everything. So for example, literally like 2 weeks ago, cover photos on Instagram resized. Canva doesn't have the updated one, but Hootsuite does. So every time I'm about to resize something, I go to this 2022 social media image thing, and I just look for the size that I need, and it tells you. Because again, like for cover photos, you want to be able to see it on mobile and your computer, not just on one. So that goes back to the resizing. Any other questions? Awesome.
All right, are we good? All right, so kind of going back to Cardinal Nest, I'll show you, I'm going to use the email signature for this example because I get that question a lot. But if we click on resources, brings you to the resource center, and you can type right into the search bar signature. If I can spell. Oh, okay, I see what the issue is. So yes, typing in signature here should pull it up. And here it is. It's actually the second one here, email signature block. So once I click into here, let me just make sure. Yeah, so the Canva version is here at the bottom, but I'm actually going to go back because I want you all to see this too. This first one here is actually titled Canva Templates. So the email signature is also here, but you'll see, the few other things that we already have ready for Canva. So the Proud to Announce postcard we went over earlier today, some of the templates and brochures and flyers, you could just come here and it'll automatically take you to Canva. So clicking on the email signature template brings me to Canva. I'll say use this template. And here it is. So again, at this point, it's pretty simple. We're just double clicking into the text boxes. And I'll go ahead and include my name. Bring it down a little bit. I'll change this to Realtor. And I want to make it a little smaller. Maybe even a little bit smaller. And you could even make the Samson logo a little bit smaller too. I have agents who will ask to do that. Okay, so really quickly, you can make the email signature straight from Canva. And once you have it completed, in the top corner, you'll see where it says share. This is where you'll have to go to download everything that you create here. So share, download. It gives you the option to do it as a transparent background or not. We actually want the block here in the signatures case, so I'm not going to check on that. But PNG is fine, and then we'll download. And let's see. And you see it's here, so you can save it and use it anywhere. So this is kind of, I always tell people who are not super familiar with Canva, maybe start with the resources that we have because it's going to be a lot easier than you having to find the templates, try to build it from scratch, So I just wanted to show you all this, that it is very easily accessible from here. But that's really all I had to share, just kind of how you can get to the Canva templates through Cardinal Nest. Did you have a question?
I do, Thomas.
Sure. Oh, yeah, they're going to give you a mic in 1 second.
Thank you very much. So here's the my customized Samson flyer every month.
Okay.
So you've moved Samson flyers into Canva.
So not all of them,
Not
but
all.
there are a few. Is that the newsletter that you have?
It is, the monthly newsletter.
So I'm not sure if the newsletter is yet added here. Let me check.
I added this in Publisher, and it would be much more, I guess, bombastic if it were in Canva.
Yes, I agree with you. I want to go back just to make sure that it's not already there. Yeah, it's not an option here. So we just have to work to get more documents added, which I know that's at the top of our list because the newsletters are so popular already.
Indeed, they are.
Yeah, so I would say I'll ask and I'll give you an update as to how quickly we can get that added for you.
Second question.
Sure.
So in the key resources and the drop down, if you just type in Canva, will it automatically populate what is listed in Canva?
Yeah, exactly. So it won't pull, like, what it will do is that it'll pull up Canva templates is the name.
All right.
And then you'll click into Canva templates and you'll see exactly what I'm seeing now, all the stuff that's
Okay.
available to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? No questions. Okay. Well, I think this is the end, and we're concluding with the presentation.
what's in it for